You want to change your life, but every day your mind creates a new condition. It tells you that you will begin when you have more time. You will work harder when you feel more motivated. You will become disciplined when you are less tired. You will follow your purpose when the direction becomes completely clear. But the perfect day you are waiting for never arrives. The person who waits for perfect conditions slowly sacrifices every possibility within himself. Life is not transformed by one dramatic decision. It is transformed by the small decisions you make every day, especially when nobody is watching. When the alarm rings and your body asks for a little more sleep. When the work is in front of you and your mind tells you to check your phone first. When you have worked for several days but still cannot see a result, and a voice inside you says that perhaps this path is not meant for you. These are not insignificant moments. These are the moments in which your character is being trained. In these moments, you decide whether you will remain a servant of your emotions or become the master of your direction. Consistency does not mean that you feel powerful every day. It means that you remain present even when you do not feel powerful. Your energy will not be the same every morning. Some days your mind will feel clear and focused. On other days, even the smallest action will feel heavy. There will be days when you move quickly and days when you barely move at all. Your responsibility is not to control your speed. Your responsibility is to protect your direction. Many people do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because they judge their efforts too quickly. They exercise for 1 week and search for transformation in the mirror. They study for a few days and begin questioning their intelligence. They create a few videos, write a few pages, submit a few applications, and then interpret the silence of the world as rejection. But when a seed is beneath the soil, you cannot see what is happening. This does not mean that nothing is happening. Roots grow in darkness. Strength develops in silence. A seed that is pulled from the earth too early will never become a tree. You must learn to trust your work, especially when the visible results do not yet support that trust. This is difficult, which is why so few people remain consistent. The human mind wants immediate reward. It wants appreciation after every effort, progress after every sacrifice, and certainty after every decision. But life does not respond according to your preferred timetable. Sometimes you knock on the same door for months and hear nothing from the other side. Then one day the door opens, but only for the person who remained there during the silence. Forcing yourself to remain consistent is not an act of cruelty toward yourself. It means refusing to let temporary emotions destroy a permanent direction. Your mood cannot be the leader of your life. A mood is like the weather. Sometimes it is bright, sometimes cloudy, and sometimes violent. A traveler who changes direction every time the weather changes will never reach the destination. The traveler may notice the storm, respect the storm, and adjust his pace, but he does not abandon the path. You may believe that you first need confidence, and then you will act. But confidence usually comes after action. You may believe that fear must disappear before you move forward. But fear becomes smaller when you repeatedly move despite its presence. You may believe that you must first become disciplined before you can follow a routine. In reality, discipline is created by following the routine. You do not become strong by thinking about strength. You become strong by meeting resistance again and again. Every day, two voices speak within you. One calls you toward comfort. It says, "Leave it for today. You can do it tomorrow. You have already done enough. You are tired. Missing one day will not matter." The second voice is quieter. It does not shout. It simply reminds you that you made a promise to yourself. The direction of your life is determined by the voice you feed through action. The voice you obey becomes stronger. The voice you repeatedly ignore becomes weaker. Skipping one day appears harmless. Breaking one small promise appears insignificant. But every decision creates evidence inside your mind. When you finish the work despite not feeling like doing it, you teach yourself, "My word has value. I can trust myself." When you repeatedly choose excuses, you teach yourself, "Do not believe what I say. My promises disappear when discomfort arrives." Slowly, your trust in yourself either grows or collapses. Self-respect is not created by positive thoughts alone. It is created when your behavior proves that your word can be trusted. Stop making enormous promises to yourself. Make smaller promises, but do not break them. Do not declare that you will work for 5 hours every day when you cannot yet focus for 20 minutes. Promise yourself that no matter what happens, you will give 20 focused minutes to your purpose. Then treat those 20 minutes as something sacred. Place the phone away. Close unnecessary windows. Stop negotiating with yourself. Give your full attention to the task. When this practice becomes part of your identity, increase the duration. The person who has not learned to carry a small weight correctly will injure himself when trying to carry a greater one. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. One extreme day of effort may exhaust you, but moderate effort repeated every day can transform you. Water does not cut through stone with one violent strike. It falls in the same place repeatedly. Each drop appears weak. Each drop seems ineffective. But time stands beside the water. When time joins consistency, even the hardest surface begins to change. Your greatest problem is usually not that you do not know what to do. Most of the time, you already know. You know you should wake up earlier. You know you should stop losing hours to meaningless scrolling. You know you should care for your body. You know which task you have been postponing for weeks. You know which conversation you are avoiding. You know which habit is making you weaker. The problem is not knowledge. The problem is obedience. Can you obey the wiser part of yourself? Or will you continue surrendering to every temporary desire? You cannot control the world. You cannot control whether people understand you. You cannot control whether your work is appreciated immediately. You cannot control every obstacle, delay, rejection, or misunderstanding. But you can control what you do when you wake up. You can control your next action. You can control whether a setback becomes your identity or becomes part of your training. When you move your attention away from what you cannot control and place it on what you can do, your energy returns to you. Most people do not lose their energy through action. They lose it through reaction. They react to opinions, comparisons, social media, news, criticism, memories, and imagined situations. Every unnecessary reaction takes a small amount of strength from them. When the time comes to build their own life, they have no attention left. Learn to sit in silence. Learn to sit in silence. Do not fill every empty moment with your phone. Do not run from every uncomfortable emotion. Sometimes remain still and observe what is happening within you. You will discover that many of your decisions are not created by necessity. They are created by restlessness. You do not always leave your work because the work is impossible. Sometimes you leave because you do not want to feel uncomfortable for another 10 minutes. You do not always pick up your phone because there is something important. You pick it up because deep focus places you face to face with your current limitations. When you learn a skill, you first see how unskilled you are. When you begin exercising, you feel your weakness. When you start writing, your words may seem empty. When you begin a business, your lack of experience becomes visible. When you try to speak with confidence, you become aware of your fear. This discomfort is not your enemy. It is the entrance. But most people mistake the entrance for a wall and turn back. The person who can remain with discomfort a little longer eventually passes through it. Consistency does not only give you results. It changes your identity. At first you say, I am trying to exercise. Later you say, why take care of my body? At first you say, why am trying to write? Later you say, why am a writer? At first, discipline is something you perform with effort. Eventually, it becomes part of your nature. This happens when an action is repeated so many times that your mind no longer sees it as temporary behavior. It recognizes it as part of who you are. But consistency is not perfection. You will sometimes fall. Your routine will sometimes break. You will make poor decisions. There will be days when your weaker side wins. The real question is not whether you will ever fall. The real question is how quickly you will stand again. Do not turn one mistake into a new identity. One missed day should not become an excuse for a missed week. Falling to the ground is not defeat. Building a home, there is defeat. When your routine breaks, do not waste your energy in guilt. Sometimes guilt becomes another form of avoidance. You spend so much time thinking about the mistake that you delay taking the next correct action. Return immediately. Make the next meal better. Complete the next workout. Write the next paragraph. Protect the next hour. Life is not asking how perfect you were yesterday. Life is asking what you will do now. Your future is not being created in some distant place. It is being created inside your daily routine. What you repeat becomes what you become. If you repeatedly practice distraction, your future will become scattered. If you practice excuses, your future will become weak. If you practice focused work, your future will become capable. If you repeatedly act despite uncomfortable emotions, your future will become stable. Destiny is rarely dramatic while it is being created. Most of the time, it appears as boring repetition. People admire impressive results, but they do not see the thousands of ordinary days beneath them. They see the medal, but not the training. They see the successful business, but not the years when nobody was buying. They see the confident speaker, but not the countless moments in which that person spoke while afraid. They see the strong body, but not the mornings when exercise was the last thing the person wanted to do. Behind every extraordinary result is a long chain of ordinary actions. You do not need to feel extraordinary every day. You must perform ordinary actions with extraordinary commitment. Make your bed. Keep your environment clean. Begin your work on time. Study what you need to study. Train your body. Control what you consume. Distance yourself from people who constantly drain your energy. Speak honestly. Keep your promises. These actions appear small, but character is revealed through small actions. A disorganized environment often creates a disorganized mind. An unclear routine forces you to make too many decisions, and every decision consumes energy. Make your environment support your discipline. Before sleeping, decide what your first important task will be the next morning. Prepare what you need in advance. Remove obvious distractions. Do not keep temptation beside you and then depend entirely on willpower. If your phone controls your attention, place it in another room. If sleeping late destroys your morning, establish a fixed time to sleep. If unhealthy food repeatedly defeats you, stop keeping it within reach. Do not make willpower your hero. Build a system in which the correct action becomes easier and the wrong action becomes more difficult. You cannot build your life on motivation. Motivation is a visitor. Sometimes it comes and sometimes it does not. Discipline must become the one who lives in the house. When motivation is present, use it. When motivation disappears, rely on your routine. A routine saves you from unnecessary negotiation. You do not spend every morning debating whether you should brush your teeth. You simply do it because it has become part of your life. Your meaningful work must eventually become the same. It must move from the category of something I do when I feel inspired into the category of something I do because this is who I am. Do not make the day so complicated that you become afraid to begin. One task at a time, one breath at a time, one step at a time. When your mind becomes overwhelmed by the entire mountain, place your attention on the stone directly in front of you. You do not need to solve your entire life today. You need to complete today's necessary action. Tomorrow, you will take tomorrow's step. Overthinking is often a sophisticated way of avoiding work. The mind continues analyzing, planning, comparing, and imagining because planning feels safer than action. In planning, nothing can fail. In action, reality gives you feedback. But feedback is necessary. You cannot correct a path that you have not begun walking. Clarity does not always come before action. Sometimes clarity appears during movement. You begin walking and then understand the direction. You begin practicing and then see which technique must improve. You begin creating and then discover what is missing. The person who wants to understand everything before beginning usually never begins. Do not demand a perfect beginning. Demand an honest beginning. Your first attempt may be weak. Your first performance may embarrass you. Your first creation may be ignored. People may laugh at your effort. But the person who refuses to look like a beginner will remain a beginner forever. Leave your ego outside the training ground. To learn, you must give yourself permission to make mistakes. To grow, you must look honestly at your present limitations. There is no shame in being unskilled. The shame is in refusing to practice because you want to protect your image. Ask yourself every morning, what is the task that my weaker self wants to avoid, but my stronger self would complete? It may be a phone call. It may be a workout. It may be a difficult chapter. It may be an apology. It may be leaving an unhealthy relationship. It may be facing your financial reality. It may be completing the project you keep delaying. The growth you are searching for is often hidden behind the responsibility you repeatedly avoid. Discipline does not mean becoming emotionless. You may feel tired. You may feel sad. You may feel uncertain. You may rest. But you must learn the difference between rest and escape. Rest restores you so that you can return stronger. Escape separates you from responsibility. After real rest, you feel prepared to continue. After escape, you usually feel more guilty, more anxious, and less capable. Be honest with yourself. When you say you need a break, ask whether your body truly needs recovery or whether fear is searching for an exit. Respect your body. Respect your body. Do not see proper food as an unnecessary luxury. Do not connect physical movement only with appearance. Your body is the instrument through which you will carry out every purpose. If you neglect it, your focus, patience, emotional control, and discipline will weaken. A strong mind cannot remain stable for long inside a body that is constantly abused. Protect your energy because consistency requires more than time. It requires energy. Protect your mind as well. Not every piece of information deserves your attention. Not every argument belongs to you. Not every opinion requires a response. You do not have to convince every person. Sometimes the most disciplined action is silence. Your attention is the currency of your life. Whatever receives your attention grows. Give attention to comparison, and insecurity grows. Give attention to anger, and anger grows. Give attention to practice, and skill grows. Give attention to gratitude, and stability grows. Do not look at another person's speed and begin doubting your own direction. Every person is traveling through different conditions. Their resources, history, responsibilities, opportunities, and struggles are not identical to yours. You do not know where they began. You do not know what support they received. You do not know how many failures came before the result you are now seeing. Comparison divides your energy. Your true competition is the person you were yesterday. Can you be slightly more conscious today? Can you create one fewer excuse? Can you keep one more promise? Can you recover more quickly after a mistake? This is progress. Do not measure progress only through large visible results. Sometimes progress means that you used to quit after 3 days, but now you have continued for 3 weeks. Sometimes progress means that criticism once disturbed you for a week, but now you recover in 1 day. Sometimes progress means that you previously escaped discomfort immediately, but now you can remain with it for several minutes. Not every transformation is visible from the outside. Your nervous system, patience, thinking, and ability to respond may be changing long before the world notices. When you remain consistent, different parts of your life slowly begin falling into place. This does not mean that life suddenly becomes easy. It means that you become stable enough that chaos no longer destroys you every time it appears. When your environment is organized, beginning work becomes easier. When your sleep improves, your focus becomes stronger. When your focus becomes stronger, your skill improves. When your skill improves, opportunities become visible. When opportunities appear, your confidence grows. When confidence grows, you begin making more responsible decisions. One correct habit rarely remains alone. It creates space for other correct habits. In the same way, one harmful habit rarely remains alone. Sleeping too late weakens the morning. A weak morning reduces your focus. Poor focus, poor focus, poor focus, poor focus. Unfinished work creates stress. Stress increases the desire to escape. Escape leads to more distraction, and the cycle repeats. This is why small decisions are not small. Each one is a doorway. Consistency is the decision to enter the same correct doorway repeatedly. There will be moments when nothing appears to be changing. Continue. There will be moments when other people move faster than you. Continue. There will be moments when your effort is misunderstood. Continue. There will be moments when you question the entire path. Pause, examine your direction honestly, make corrections where necessary, and then continue. Continuing does not mean blindly repeating what does not work. True consistency includes awareness. A disciplined person does not stubbornly hit the same wall forever. He observes, learns, adjusts, and returns to the work. Consistency is not repetition without intelligence. It is commitment without emotional instability. Sometimes you need to change the method while keeping the mission. You may need a better strategy, a different schedule, new knowledge, or support from someone more experienced. Changing the method is not failure. Abandoning your deeper purpose every time difficulty appears is the real failure. Be flexible in your technique but firm in your commitment. Understand that discipline creates freedom. At first, this may seem like a contradiction. Discipline appears restrictive. It asks you to wake up at a certain time, follow a plan, control impulses, and do what is difficult. But without discipline, You become controlled by every desire, every emotion, and every distraction. The person who cannot control his attention is not free. The person who cannot control his habits is not free. The person who knows what must be done but is unable to make himself do it is not free. Discipline removes the chains that comfort slowly places around you. At the beginning, you force yourself to follow the routine. Later, the routine begins carrying you. At the beginning, every correct decision requires effort. Later, many of those decisions become automatic. What once felt difficult becomes normal. What once demanded courage becomes part of daily life. This is the reward of consistency that few people discuss. The work does not always become easy, but you become more capable. You stop being shocked by resistance. You stop interpreting discomfort as danger. You stop expecting every day to feel good. You begin understanding that difficulty is not always a warning to stop. Sometimes difficulty is simply the feeling of growth taking place. Do not wait for life to become less demanding. Train yourself to become more stable. A peaceful mind is not created by avoiding every challenge. It is created by knowing that when a challenge appears, you can trust yourself to respond. This trust is built every time you do what you said you would do. You do not need to announce your transformation. You do not need to tell everyone about your plans. There is power in working quietly. Words can sometimes create a false feeling of progress. You speak about what you will do, receive attention for the intention, and then lose the hunger to perform the action. Let your work remain silent until the result becomes visible. Do not waste energy trying to appear disciplined. Use that energy to become disciplined. Every night, examine the day without hatred and without excuses. Ask what you did well. Ask where you became weak. Ask what must be corrected tomorrow. Do not insult yourself. Do not protect yourself with lies. Observe clearly. Self-awareness without discipline creates frustration. Discipline without self-awareness creates rigidity. You need both. Observe honestly, then act correctly. The purpose is not to punish yourself. The purpose is to refine yourself. A blade becomes sharp through repeated contact with resistance. The process creates heat. It removes material. It may appear destructive, but it is creating precision. Your difficult days can serve the same purpose. They reveal impatience, fear, pride, distraction, and dependence on comfort. Do not hate the day that reveals your weakness. Use it. You cannot strengthen what you refuse to see. When everything inside you says, "Not today," remember that today is the training. The easy day does not fully reveal your discipline. The difficult day does. Anyone can move when inspiration is high. The stronger person moves when inspiration is absent, but the purpose remains. This does not mean that you must always perform at maximum intensity. Some days, your full effort may be 1 hour. On another day, your full effort may be 10 minutes. The important thing is to preserve the connection with your path. Do not allow zero to become your habit. On difficult days, reduce the action, but do not completely abandon it. Read 1 page. Perform 1 set. Write 1 paragraph. Practice for 10 minutes. Clean 1 corner. Make 1 correct decision. A small action protects your identity. It tells your mind, even on difficult days, I remain the person who returns. Not through magic, and not because the world suddenly becomes fair. They come together because you have created order within yourself. You have become more prepared. You notice opportunities that your distracted mind once ignored. You handle pressure that once overwhelmed you. You finish work that once remained incomplete. You attract trust because your behavior becomes reliable. People begin depending on you because you have learned to depend on yourself. Your external life often reflects the patterns of your internal life. When your mind is scattered, your actions become scattered. When your actions are scattered, your results become unstable. When your mind becomes clear, your actions become deliberate. When your actions become deliberate and repeated, your results eventually become more stable. Do not chase the result every day. Build the person who can produce the result repeatedly. The result may come and go. The person you become remains. Money can be lost. Recognition can disappear. Opportunities can change. But the discipline, knowledge, patience, and resilience developed through consistent effort can help you rebuild again. This is why the deepest reward is not what consistency gives you. It is what consistency makes you. So stop asking whether you feel ready. Readiness is often created by beginning. Stop asking whether the entire journey will be easy. It will not be. Stop asking whether you can guarantee success. No honest person can guarantee the outcome. Ask a better question. Can you give your full attention to the next correct action? Can you remain loyal to the path for one more day? Can you keep one promise to yourself today? Your life does not need another emotional declaration. It needs evidence. It needs a morning in which you rise when you said you would rise. It needs an hour in which you work without reaching for distraction. It needs an evening in which you prepare yourself for tomorrow rather than escaping from today. Build the evidence slowly. One day, you will look at yourself and realize that the person who once struggled to begin has become someone who knows how to continue. The chaos may still exist around you, but it will no longer exist within you in the same way. The problems may not disappear, but your ability to face them will have changed. And when your inner world becomes ordered, the outer pieces begin to find their place. Not because life finally decided to cooperate with you, but because you finally stopped abandoning yourself. Force yourself to begin when the mind creates excuses. Force yourself to return when you fall. Force yourself to remain patient when progress is invisible. Force yourself to keep the small promises that nobody else knows. In the beginning, you will carry the discipline. In time, the discipline will carry you. And eventually, what once felt impossible will become your normal way of living.